it's okay to be white. These messages popped all over college campuses recently, and the reaction's been interesting. They were called by the faculty and the student leadership at UC Davis pro-white. The Southern Poverty Law Center referred to it as a plot by white nationalists, and the Huffington Post referred to it as a white supremacist plot. The Daily Stormer called it the newest, greatest meme yet. So the reaction has been interesting. Are these posters pro-white? Technically, yes. And there's nothing anti-white about them. They definitely talk about a skin color and its veracity, whether or not it's okay. And they say that it is okay to be white. Uh, was it done by white nationalists and white supremacists? Was it plot by white nationalists and white supremacists? I don't see any evidence of that. I'm sure there are some people that were putting up these posters that had white nationalist or white supremacist leanings. There's a lot of people that were doing it, and I don't see any reason why why a white nationalist or white supremacist wouldn't do that. Seems in line with their it seems in line, fairly benign, but in line with their ideology. Is what was said on these posters untrue? Was it provocative in any way? No, I don't think so. I don't see any reason to suggest that it is provocative. Uh, I don't know if, when it came to these posters, I just applied the law of the reverse. I took a look at these posters and thought about what would happen if we reversed it. So, it's okay to be black. I mean, is that an untrue statement? Is it provocative to say that in any way without modifiers? Without saying it's okay to be black, but it's also okay to be any of the other groups, just to let it stand by itself? Is it okay to say it's okay to be black? Yeah, why would that not be okay? Of course it's okay. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it at all. But if it's okay if it's okay to say something about one group of people, if it's okay to say something about one group of people, it's okay to say that about any group of people. If it's not okay to say something about any demographic, then it's not okay to say that about any demographic. Just seems self-evident to me. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong, but there are people. I can understand why somebody would want to put this up. There have been a lot of people that have been claiming that it's essentially not okay to be white. We have college professors saying that they don't want their children to be friends with white people. Have people coming up on the news saying that if you're white and you have a family, if you're white and you have children, that propagates white supremacy somehow. I mean, like this is. I'm not going to go so far as to say that there's no institutional racism against white people. There's nothing like that going on. But there are definitely people that are saying some really provocative things that are racist against white people, and that's not okay. Um, I mean, like, when I take a look at it, I think I can understand why some people might have a problem with these posters that say that it's okay to be white, but I also understand why people would put them up. The reason why, as far as I can tell, the reason why people would have a problem with these "It's okay to be white" posters is something that Jordan Peterson said about the postmodern paradigm that's going on in this country right now. This idea that everybody is separated into oppressors and oppressed. And it makes sense. It's basically a zero-sum game. Anything that supports the oppressors naturally is attacking the oppressed. The problem I see is that I don't see any evidence that this oppressor versus oppressed narrative is in any way in any way shows itself in reality. I don't see this idea that all white people are oppressing everybody that's not white. I don't see any evidence of that. I saw during the debate that Thomas Smith had with Sargon of Akkad, said when Thomas Smith said that freedom allows white people to control everything, and I saw that and I just was flabbergasted. Just how? How? How does freedom allow white people to control it? Freedom is specifically about letting everybody do everything, do what they want, may be able to achieve what they want to achieve. How does that favor white people? I mean, just even saying that is fairly, it implies that white people are more competent than non-white people, and I find that idea to be ludicrous. It's like I don't see any other way to take that. I don't see any other way to translate that out into its barest ideas. It seems completely ridiculous to me. I don't understand it. But when you take something like this oppressor versus oppressed narrative, and you find yourself on the as one of the oppressed, or on the side of the oppressed, like an oppressor who doesn't want to be oppressing anymore, then it just becomes absolutely necessary to attack the other side. What you see as the other side, and I understand that. I don't see it as bearing itself out in reality. The only place I see it is in these fringe movements, the hard left that's being really overrepresented in the media, and the alt right that's like Richard Spencer and his ilk. And the two of them just keep on going back and forth and back and forth and trying to bring absolutely everybody in the middle into it. And there's going to come a point where it's going to explode. I mean, we've already seen violence occur because of this. Charlottesville, UC Berkeley, UC Davis. When I was at the Milo Yiannopoulos talk at University of Washington, Seattle, back in January, where there was a guy that was shot, and there was a kid, a high school kid. I was standing 10 feet away from this kid. He got jumped by like 5 college students wearing masks. They busted his lip through paint all over his face. And this was before the J20 protesters showed up and started causing all the havoc. There were college students that were there from the very beginning and being violent with people. It was. I mean, this is not okay. This is political violence. This is what the Nazis did in the 1920s with the brown shirts. This is what the Nazis did. They were violent against anybody that disagreed with their political aims. Anybody that disagreed with their political aims. This is the problem I see with identity politics. This idea that our politics and our identity is sacred somehow, and that anybody that disagrees with it is attacking our person, like is being physically violent. This idea of microaggressions, that people that disagree with us are actually being violent toward us. It's a bad idea. It causes all these problems. I want us to have an open marketplace of ideas. I want people to be able to throw out their opinions and throw out their ideas, and like separate the wheat from the chaff. See what sticks. See what doesn't. See what are good ideas. See what aren't. But I see all these people saying, no, you're not allowed to say that. If you even entertain the idea, if you even talk with anybody that disagrees with us, then you're this, that, and the other. You're this white supremacist. You're this racist. You're this race traitor. You're this all this nonsense going on. I don't see how it helps our society at all. I don't see what is good about it. I want us to have a free and complete marketplace of ideas. I don't want anything to be off the table. Uh, I mean, there are going to be people that are going to be wrong. There's a difference between being wrong and being stupid, or wrong and being evil. It's like evil means you are intending to hurt somebody. You are intending to cause physical damage. That's really evil. That is really what evil is. You have the intent to cause actual harm to people. Being stupid just means being unable to learn. You don't know that somebody's stupid until they've just cut themselves off from all other lines of inquiry. Being wrong just means you have the wrong information. There's nothing wrong with that. People have the right to be wrong. Everybody has the right to be wrong. That's why we have to protect speech. We have to protect free speech. Especially unpopular and disgusting speech which we find revolting, speech that we think is terrible. Like all these people that are saying like white lives don't matter. I don't think these people should be thrown in jail. I'm going to rail against their comments. I'm going to argue against them. like is the people kneeling in protest in the NFL. It's like nobody's saying that they should be thrown in jail for what they've done, and if there is anybody that said that, they're wrong, just plainly wrong. I'm going to disagree with them. I think that the reason they're protesting doesn't exist. I don't think that they're protesting for good reasons, and I reserve the right to not watch the NFL for that exact reason. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm really just trying to articulate myself here. This is stuff that I'm sure 1,000 people have said before, but we really I see freedom of speech under attack. I see people trying to say that things are beyond the pale, that there are certain things that just shouldn't even be said. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. It's the I think it was the delegate, one of the delegates from Rhode Island during the Continental Congress, that said, I've never heard, seen, or smelled an idea so dangerous that it couldn't be talked about. I'm on that train. I don't know what do I know? I'm just some guy with a camera.